Hello FAF enjoyers, welcome back. Today I've got a low-rated Legends game for you, which I'm very excited about because I love low-rated Legends. We're going to be playing a 4v4 on this desert map. You can see we've got these four kind of concentric mirror lakes here. Kind of look like Yotsuba's hair. Rest in peace, 4chan. Probably the most influential website on the internet ever to exist. It's a cruel irony that your last ever post was something about Chicken Jockey from Minecraft, but you live by the shitpost, you die by the shitpost. That's just how it is. We've got 4 players on each team. We'll go through them. We'll introduce them. Now, the big-brained viewers among you might be saying, but wait a minute, isn't there an 1800 in this game? That's not low-rated Legends. Well, don't worry about that. What we're going to concentrate on is the low-rated players, and they're the interesting players.
Around 500 rating, the players are just kind of starting to learn the game. They don't really know what to do, so it tends to be very static. The players that are trying to be aggressive execute their strategies with all the fluidity of an NPC from a budget PlayStation 2 game. Above 2K rating, the players sit there pondering their massive strategy orbs, making less mistakes and having a generally more predictable game. Unfortunately, because they're so big-brained, someone will move a mantis to a mech somewhere on the map, and they'll be like, aha, you've played the Frenchman's Gambit build order in approximately 32 minutes, Isle of One, and then everyone will just leave. Which just leaves the 1K players, the real heroes of FAF. They know just enough to be dangerous. They're always going to try something wild. It's probably not going to work out, but they're going to try it anyway, and that's what I enjoy the most.
So Caliber here is doing something incredibly smart that you won't see the lower rated players doing. He's using only the reclaim. He hasn't even collected all of his core mexes. He's building the world's tallest tower on PGens, and he's reclaiming mass with his engineers to do it. It would have been better to manually click them because half this stuff is useless, but that's a very smart opening. Now we've got a few people from the Sun clan. Let's put the map on very quickly so you can just check what's going on. We've got a few players spreading out. From the Sun clan, I've got J141. He's done a very... he's actually missing a P-gen. He's probably going to stall. Well, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. You probably want to go 3 P-gen Hydro if you want to make like a bomber or something out there, but all good. Now, elsewhere on the team, we've got 2 players in green. We've got Spaltaxed, who's heading down south with his ACU down here. And we've got Shooting Chipmunk, who's 900. So this was probably a custom game, and they all wanted to be on the same team, but they couldn't balance it, so they sacrificed poor Muzdump over here in yellow. He is going to be the sacrifice today to go on the enemy team, and trying to ruin their day. So he's got 4. He really needs to kind of push out and get his expansion the same way Jim Jack has done. Look at this, expansion. That's very nice. That's a smart play there, getting his expansion. But Muzdump doesn't seem to be doing that, so that might hurt him. We'll just check out this Tech 1 bomber because it is a Scorcher. And that's going to pick up some engineers immediately. It's a nice play, put some pressure on. No anti-air in the base. Another nice bomb by the look of it. That's 6 engineers. Sorry, 5 engineers there. That's really good. Gun upgrade being rushed here, but there's clearly not enough power to do that. We're talking like 5 or 6 P-gens. Especially if he goes and loses them. Oh, this is going to be very painful. Remember that the Scorcher is the only bomber that can do this. Now down here we've got the similar thing. We've got Jason. He's actually microing this bomber here. That was some stop micro there. Go on, let's split then. Go on, let's split. Fine, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll check out the bombers. It looks like there was an attempt to kill these, but the bomber actually just wasn't given a secondary attack command, so unfortunately it wasn't going to go and kill them. The Scorcher is the only bomber that can kill P-gens in 2 passes, but you do have to queue up the attack in order to do that. Some very nice, surprisingly good micro here, actually, by J141. But he is going to lose that bomber. 9 kills! What a monster. Alright. Let's go back to the main view. So also in the bottom team, we've got Nix. He's 1500. He's doing some transport shenanigans. Got some factories, although his air factory is on pause. He starts T2 at 5 minutes, very early. And last but not least, we've got Supreme AJ. Now, I happen to know that AJ and Jim Jack here, they play together all the time. They used to be in a now defunct clan called UFN, and they both like to play very aggressively, or at least did. So they will attack very early with their ACUs with gun. That's their preferred playstyle. So watch out for that if you face them on the ladder. And it looks like we're going to have 2 ACUs here. So Spaltaxt and Shooting Chipmunk going to be making their move forwards. One of them has guns. This will be potentially quite difficult to stop. Especially for Nix, who has no gun upgrade of his own. Now what we could do is try something a little bit different. Normally I put the map up for you like this, right? But today we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to try some magic, okay? We're going to try a little bit of magic. And we're going to try and turn this 2D map into a 3D map. Alright? You have to let me know what you think about this, okay? You ready? 3, 2, 1. Bam. The magic of editing. So 1, 2, 3, 4 guns, 5 guns, and a Tech 2 upgrade is what we've got going on right now. AJ being quite aggressively, he's managed to pick up some kills with his tanks. Could finish off this last mechs. But down here in the corner, this gun push is going to be very hard to stop. And by very hard, I mean there's literally nothing Nix can do about it because he has no gun of his own. Eco-wise, things are fairly even, but Muzdump here is crippled. Sorry, not AJ. Jim Jack literally stole his expansion, and that's leaving Muzdump to do nothing but pile up Tech 1 units here by the looks of things. Now, what can Nix do about this? Well, he's got Tech 2 on his ACU. He's working on Tech 2 P-Gen. As soon as that finishes, given that he's got a Tech 2 mix already, and this one nearly finished, he should be able to build a couple of Tech 2 PD somewhere, and that will prevent this attack from doing much more damage. Really, it's on AJ to counterpunch here. Perhaps move his ACU round and counterattack the base. This is the best play, really. But in doing that, he's going to draw the attention of Caliber and his units, which means that Jim Jack probably needs to counterattack. So, we'll see what happens. Now, Chipmunk is electing to continue his push, but he has almost no supporting units. And I think we can see the counterplay being prepared. AJ, he's going for Tech 1 bombers, and Nix is going for gunships, which Shooting Chipmunk knows nothing about. Nothing at all. And especially in addition to the Tech 2 PD and the Tech 1 PD doing a lot of damage here, he is in trouble. We will split because on the top side here, Muzdump is also going to make a push. He has unit superiority and gun, so Spartak's going to be able to defend his ACU with his inties. Team 2 apparently did not make any inties, so that's kind of on them. Another triad to push this back. It's a very nice dodge there. Look at that. Didn't take any damage. Oh, except when he did. Doesn't look there's a dodge here, though. He's going to take a lot of damage. He's shooting Chipmunk. Meanwhile, J141 is under huge amounts of pressure. He's trying to retreat into his base. These engineers should probably be building a Tech 1 PD, not a factory. Nice switch, J141. What a Chad. But shooting Chipmunk, the damage was just too much. His inties weren't able to stop all of the bombers. He's now surrounded by units, focusing the focusing that unit there with that overcharge got him a veterancy, which is really strong, but he's not going to get another one. He probably should have just focused on the ACU. And that leaves us with a 3v3. Sorry. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It leaves us with a 4v2. So Caliber is going to inherit both of those spaces because he's got the most eco. He's actually up to T3 land. And Supreme AJ is going to be dealing the counter punches we thought he might here. Dealing as much damage to this base as he can. He is going to have Nyx coming up with support with his units eventually. But Team 2 down here, they do want to put pressure on. Jimjack with stealth and gun here. Will he be able to fight these units? Does he have enough storage? He has one overcharge storage, so not quite enough to kill those Titans in one shot, I don't think. Not even enough to break the shield. So we've got action all over the place. Muzdump is pushing in here. He wants to get into the back line before the PD kill him off, really. Caliber's going to finish this off. This PD's preventing further advance, but they've lost a lot. As you can see, Team 2 down on eco now. Svaltex is actually in big trouble here. I feel like AJ could probably kill him off, but he's going to retreat. Is this a tactical decision, or was he just not paying attention? Certainly could have killed Spaltex here if he'd just stayed on him. Opting to play safe there, but doesn't have the bombers or the gunships to do much more. Jimjack focusing on a PD. Probably needs to be overcharging. He's almost at a second vet. He does have some Tech 2 units of his own. Ideally, Muzdump would come and help him, and they could actually fight this. But it looks like both ACUs are going to be able to get away. This gunship's still trying to kill Spaltex down into the red now. If they let him live, they may regret that. When it's down to 2 players like this, you almost certainly want to go for the kill every time. Forcing one player to do all the work is very, very taxing on their brains. Humans really only have a limited amount of brain power to do stuff in this game. Even an 1800 or a 2k will suffer against 4 players. They'll have to make decisions like going for gunships and trying to kill off the players one by one, that kind of a deal. Nyx is going for TML. Looks like he's got it. Supreme AJ gets T2 on his ACU. These Titans are absolute chads, but they do need to be constantly on the move. Muzdump now AFK. Not much he can do coming out of this pond into this area anymore. There's too much PD. Tech 3 air for Spaltex. That is very worrying. Fortunately, he has no T3 power. He's going for the T3 power, but not adjacent to his T3 air factory. If this is you in future, viewers, delete these 3, and by delete I mean reclaim these 3 PGens. Build your T3 power here. The saving on it is enormous. It's basically the only adjacency really worth doing in casual games is T3 air effect, T3 air and T3 PGen adjacency. Janus being used here by Caliber. Potentially dangerous to do that in your own base, but he gets away with it. Another tactical missile. We're going to have 3 TML comms. Is this the new meta? Is this the low-rated meta? Triple TML com. Unfortunately, they're going up against an Aeon. So assuming they're trying to get rid of this, it's not going to work, because this can defend against any number of TMLs. But, you know, it is what it is. Big push down here. And Supreme AJ does the correct thing by trying to micro his Tech 3 tank away. He is going to lose a whole bunch of Tech 2 mexes, but the more of these Othams come out, the safer he will be. I want to keep an eye on this because there's that is a Percy and a Titan, so going for T3 land drops is Caliber. Now potentially with 2 ACUs, if they fired like here, it's possible they could actually kill him with a snipe with 2 of them at the same time. That, I have to try that in a game, basically. At some point we try to triple ACU TML snipe. If we manage to get that to work, it would be incredible. But here comes that T3 land drop. And that's going to be devastating. Here goes the base, basically. There's a T3 mechs under construction here. They might actually, it might have been better to focus these units. There's a very, very low unit game. So losing a couple of these units is really bad for both players. So focusing these could potentially leave a couple of Percys in the base with nothing to challenge them, which means everything gets lost. So kiting, still definitely the correct move. Percy is absolute chads. The chickens are going to fall over. They're now moving into Nyx's base. We can see that Jimjack is going for Corsairs. That's actually pretty smart. Corsairs will deal with T3 units. What is that? What? Okay. I think he's using the attack command to move, not realizing that the attack command, yeah, fuck this piece of area ground in particular, does actually force fire with Corsairs and other splash damage units. That's a slightly questionable decision. He's attacking the floor whilst the ally loses his base. Oh. Never mind. Never mind. It's not important. The floor was a threat. Okay, it was a threat. That threat's now been neutralized. Oh, we've kind of missed this. That's tragic. But the 2 TML comms have in fact killed the T3 air factory grid here. The HQ survived though, so he hasn't lost his ability to produce T3 air. Just the scale of his production. So some nice TML ACUs going on here. We check the range. Oh, it's not quite enough to kill the rest of the mexes. And this TMD will defend against that. Look at that. It's going to put up its little thing. And TML is going to be ineffective. Now they're leaving Jimjack to fend off here. There's Tech 2 fighter bomber fights in the base. It looks like the HQ was lost to Nothers there. Oh, sorry, to Janus. That's quite painful. In the middle, Jimjack is racking up the kills here against these kind of AFK pillars. Muzdump, well, he's building, he's working on this. He doesn't seem to, oh, a TMD prevented it. He was going for a HQ snipe, which is really smart, but this TMD is going to prevent that from happening. Probably he just doesn't have enough mass to load it properly, because he could have been firing them quicker. Revealing that TML, you need to reveal that the fact that you've got the TML when you're ready to do massive damage with it. If you reveal it too late, or you reveal it in an ineffective way, it's just not going to do much. But this was a good try. Make sure you got plenty of mass behind you so you can do damage with it. And we're starting, this is a sign of desperation, right? When you see this, this kind of like lines of Tech 1 PD means that your opponent doesn't have enough APM to fight effectively against you. So they're spamming something like these lines of PD. Unfortunately, if you walk into it, that's really bad. Don't walk into it. Dealing with them with the TML. These cost 250 mass each, and the TML, the single missile, is 170. So that is actually cost effective. Nice. That is really sad. Triple Percy here, and that was lost to a bouncer. So it's Jim Jack up to T3 land. He is fighting Percy's with his ACU, which is incredibly dangerous. But he's surviving so far. He's doing pretty well. He has lost almost his entire rear base to Percy's, though. Desperately needs to get on with rebuilding these. As you can see, the overkill from the Percy actually means that it has less mass than normal. Normally you'd expect to see about 900 mass, but the Percy's overkill them. And more Janus, the order of the day. A spider was started, but Jim Jack is only on 58 mass. There's no way he can finish that. Well, wait a minute. Supreme AJ's gone in the pond here with Caliber. He's got Tech 2, Gun, and TML. And if you've seen some of the tournament casts before, you know that the TML can be used for a close-range snipe. Will we see that? No, we're going for a torpedo launcher. Now, Caliber only has Gun. There's very little he can do about this. He can try and reclaim it, but he's going to get outclassed, basically. This is where all the action is. Top right-hand corner, we can see that Muzdump is doing a TML, but not making a huge amount of difference. Caliber does not have a nano. He absolutely can die to this. Supreme AJ needs to make a PD on the beach, ideally, I would say. Not another torp launcher. Does he have enough? Okay, they both actually have mass. No, AJ, you're stalling mass. You need to cancel everything. You need to grab your whole base and pause it. This is so important. You can end the game right here. No, he's now out of gun range because he's stalled. Oh, AJ. Janus came in and they missed as well. The TML! Oh, it was so close. Okay, Calibus kind of foolishly walks back into gun range here. AJ, is he going to go for a trade? No, it doesn't look like he is. Oh! He did it! He got the TML snipe. He's down at 2,500 health there. That is the magic number for the combomb. Needs to overcharge the engineers, really. He can still kill him if he lands this. Can still kill him if he lands this. He needs overcharge. Is he still stalling E? Oh! Caliber walks back in. Focus the ACU. Focus the ACU. The TMD prevented the missile. Oh, 200 health. Oh, AJ. If you'd right-clicked his ACU, you would have killed him. It was so close. Oh. And Nyx is in the pond. But he's getting taken out by torp launchers. Why did he come in the pond as well? What was he doing, Nyx? What are you doing? What are you doing? He couldn't leave because of the Percys. In pushes Jim Jack against the Percys with his loyalists. He's actually using the loyalists correctly, which is to get in point blank range so that they stun when they die. And not only that, but also Muzdump is going all in as well. He also has a TML, but the TML isn't going to work because of these buzz kills. And he can't really advance over this ridge. Now there's restorers. Things aren't looking good for Team 1 here. But here comes Jim Jack with a steel chair. I mean, with his Corsairs, there's no flak. So he's going to need to dodge. Oh, he's going to do it. Oh, the last one. The last Corsair tags him. And Jim Jack picks up the kill. That's brutal. I thought Caliber had dodged that there, but the last Corsair caught him out. And down goes the highest rated player in the game. If you do play in the EU time zone, hide your ACU. hide your mexes, hide your wife. At some point, Jimjack is going to make 15 to 20 Corsairs, and he is going to click your ACU. That's just how it is. Muzdump is going to try and flee back to his safety pond. This is his safety pond. He's been in there all game. It's a comfort pond. It doesn't really seem like pushing around in all this PD is worth it. Muzdump's HP is falling rapidly from these Restorers, but Restorers don't have the highest DPS, and neither do the Stingers, so... They are going to push him down into the red here. Is this pond not deep enough? No, he is. He's safe. He's safe. But wait, the bricks... Oh, no, the bricks are on his team. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. And we are now in a 2v1. Or are we? I might have spoken too soon here. Spaltax is up for revenge. In comes his Torp Bombers. Down goes Muzdump. He went back into his safety pond. And it turns out it wasn't as safe as he remembered it. He had plenty of supporting units. He needed to get out, but then the Restorers would have killed him. Left with no options. That's a nice pickup for Team 2. And you know what that means? Now it's time for a 1v1. We have Jimjack J playing Cybran. He's in the pond down here with Stealth. And we have Spaltax. He's playing in the Aeon ACU. He's got no upgrades currently. He is assisting more of these glorious Restorers. Now, Restorers are very, very strong. A big ball of them. But their strength, remember, the strength of the Restorer is that they deny air coverage. And Jimjack is going to do a 400 IQ play and ignore making air. He doesn't need air. So that will actually negate some of the main strengths of the Restorer straight off the bat. I did kind of lie, he is working on T3 air just very slowly. So Spaltax is going to scout here. He is going to scout. Eco-wise, things are kind of even. We're talking about sort of 10% in it. In a game between 1Ks, 10% mass income is absolutely nothing. I said that, but Jimjack actually dropped some... he actually dropped some income there slightly. He's lost. He does seem to be mostly AFK. He's concentrating on this push up here, which is kind of sensible. Does he really need to push through this PD though? That's the question. These gunships actually dying to the bouncers. Every gunship that dies is a significant loss. That's another one going to go down here. Killing the PD but not going after the mexes that they protect is perhaps a bit questionable. Splitting some tanks off to do that is a very good idea. There is a lot of reclaim on the map. How much are we up to? 78k. Jimjack, well, he's actually got plenty of mass. He's just got E issues. He really needs a Tech 3 P-Gen, but he's producing T3 Air without a T3 P-Gen. That is why he's having E issues. Spaltex on the way. Well, he's got 30,000 mass in storage, and he's producing solaces. That is the peak. We are at peak 1K gameplay. The Solace Snipe. The Solace Snipe is coming. So, will Jimjack get out of the pond? Is the question. His attack up here is petering out. Focusing the Tech 2 HQ is important, but not that important because he has T3 air elsewhere. It just prevents the rebuild by... well, luckily his missile launchers are automatically killing the mexes, which is key. It's key, very important. But we're up to quite a few restorers now. 17, that is very difficult to stop. In response, Jimjack, well, he's finally finished that spider we saw hanging around in the base. And he has very smartly come out of the pond. He has seen the solaces, so that is the biggest brain move he could do. The problem is he needs SAMs right now to survive from the restorers. What is he working on? Well, lightning tanks. That is exactly what he should be working on. Splitting up the restorers to go after 2 bases at the same time. Not a great plan, because you actually need the DPS of the restorers together, I think. And we are almost pivoting into a top versus bottom right now. Some ASF, but against this many restorers, they're not going to be enough. Zap them! Remember that the lightning tanks deal splash damage, so they're getting great value there. But they're focusing the HQ. Panic line of Tech 1 anti-air planned. A strat bomber comes in. That focuses the land HQ, so both HQs go down. That was a devastating attack. And another mech's damaged there. Mass-wise, though, things absolutely even. The damage that was done in this top right-hand corner and the damage that was done to the bases by the restorers are roughly equal. Moving the spider out without too much anti-air is questionable. Also, the value of Vipers. So if you want to take something from this, Jim Jack, the thing you probably should take is to replace the Vipers at this point in the game. Don't make any more of them. Just replace them with Flax, and maybe a Stealth Gen every now and then. And some Tech 1 Arties. Tech 1 Arties are always valuable. So what damage will these Restorers be able to do? Strats and Restorers and Solaces piling up in the bottom right hand of the corner of, you can see in the map. That is a lot of Restorers. And it's kind of hard to see what Jim Jack can do about this. I am worried for him, to be quite honest. Coordinating your Flax and things around the map. And this base is mostly AFK. He needs, like, shields and some SAMs. He's going to be in real trouble. Not even the Flax are really effective. Look at how little damage it did to them. The Restorable is on the rampage. And what can he do in return? Well, he's got the Spider. The Spider would die very quickly to the Solaces. And they can see it. They can see it. So, using these Solaces would be pretty smart. Nick says to make more AA. Now, the way to do that would be to just queue up an extra couple of factories and build nothing but Flax out of them. Get rid of these TMLs. The MMLs, sorry. You really don't need them at this stage. Okay, well, a couple have been lost here. There's a lot of Flax at the top. I don't think that focusing the HQ is a good plan. It'd be better to get rid of the Flax if you're going to do that. But that's going to be the play. And Jim Jack is queuing up his own massive counterpunch. He's losing the base down here, but look at the amount of Tech 1 anti-airs. But he's got a counterpunch going on, so we'll split to have a look at that. It looks like somehow the attack of the gunships is going to run out. I think they've been left idle here. And this Spider is going to actually be allowed to get in. We'll go back to the main view. Very little to stop this Spider. The anti-air is a little bit too far behind it, but doing its best. Spider down to half health, but it also is nearly at a veterancy. And why is it going back? No, it's changing its mind. It's a little bit confused about what it wants to achieve here. More gunships coming in. But the Flax are now with the Spider, so the Spider being ordered to go back No, now it's being ordered to go back in again. Guess he realizes he won't actually be able to save it. The spider goes down there, but there's so much flak that it's working on a Tsar. Now this could PD queued, but it's a little bit too late, really. The air grid is going to get demolished here. And just in the corner, you can see on the right-hand side, Spaltax has got his own counterpunch coming in the form of some bricks. But seems very likely that he loses his air grid for this. In fact, he lost the PD here as well. Bricks are a bit too strong. Down's going to go the T3 HQ, so both players lose both of their HQs here. They are resetting each other back to the Stone Ages of technology. Focusing on the power here. Remember, we're in a 1v1 situation, and crippling your opponent's power has always been the way to win 1v1s. Just because it stalls everything. Oh! Down goes the Tech 3 power. But in the top left-hand corner, let's split again very quickly. There we go. Spaltax is in trouble. He couldn't die here. This might be the end of the game. Panic wall of Tech 1 PD now from Jimjack. So that is the state that he's currently in. Sorry, I'm clicking the wrong menus. Jimjack is going to get the kill here. Spaltax is going to try to run to the corner. It looks like that counter punch wasn't quite enough. Or is he? Oh no! So, it's the oldest trick in the book. Hide in the corner and hope he doesn't see you. That is the plan here. That is going to buy Spaltax some time. Time for what? Maybe the Solace Snipe of the Century. Maybe the Solace Snipe of the Century. Spaltax is down significantly on eco. Oh, the army's moving back here. They know where the comm is. Remember that Solaces do have sonar. So as long as one Solace is slightly ahead, he can right click. At 16k, he needs 5. 5 Solaces. He has 5 Solaces for the single pass. This is doable. Nope, the army's going back. Spaltax, 0 upgrades. He is a defenseless, poor little man. But the army is missing him. Something you might not know about low-rated Cybrans is that their vision is actually based on movement. So if you stay very still in the corner of the map, they can't actually see you. Now the army is mostly flak. The question is there anything he can do to stay in the game right now? It might not win against these Percivals. It will come down to micro. No, the Solaces, they were your ticket to win. Don't send them over the bouncers. Spaltax, what are you doing? There are only 3 Solaces left. He can't build any more because he doesn't have an air factory. He now needs 2 passes to kill, and there are Sams. So the chances of victory is slipping away. He only needed to send them here. Have the ASF tank the damage. He could have won this. But it looks like Jimjack is going to be crushing. The Omni is under threat here by Jimjack. Oh, but the Percivals are doing a lot of damage. I think the army is going to get cleaned up here. No, not the Solaces. The army is going to get cleaned up. But that's right, it's time for a second army. Unfortunately, there's only like 3 actual units in this fight. The rest is all flak. Jimjack desperately needs to transition out of Tech 2 MMLs. Although some of them have like thousands of mass killed. It's just not effective. So that leaves Spaltax down on mass, down on map control. He does have this raiding group of Percys in the back here. He has a full mass bar. Jimjack is in the same place but with less power. And he doesn't have radar. Jimjack hasn't really kept up with his radars. Wait, hasn't he? He does have an Omni. He's just kind of like... Yeah, he does, but he's got the Omni back up. There we go. So this big block is sieging down Spaltax's base. But it's not going to hold up to this big group of Percys, that's for sure. Wait, there's an imposter in the Cybran army. There's a Percy. Now, this is going to be a massacre. The Percy ball is unstoppable. That is going to buy Spaltax some time. It's going to buy him some time to live. But he's still down 50% on mass. And he no longer has any air. Whereas Jimjack has T3 air. And swapping now, Jimjack... Big brain play would be for Jimjack to swap to gunships. Oh, actually, that's wrong. There are some ASF here. There are some ASF left, but they can't be replaced. Swapping to gunships, I think, would be a great play right now. That is actually doing damage because it's shooting at one of the ones over here. And the game does look slightly like it might head to a bit of a stalemate. Neither player is really attempting to expand back out. Remember, they are 1k rated, but at this kind of deal, you kind of want to spread back out, go and recapture the mexes. The game is going to reset a little bit. This is perhaps a slight blunder. No, we won't call it a blunder. This is low-rated legends. This is an interesting tactical choice. Jimjack is going for cruisers, despite knowing that his opponent doesn't have T3 air. So that's potentially an issue. Okay, well, there hasn't been much unit production. And here come the Percys, still producing almost entirely flax. And these MMLs, still producing MMLs from this base down here. So many MMLs. MMLs do not work against Percys. It would be better to produce Tech 1 artilleries. Spam a whole bunch of Tech 1 arties, and that would be quite effective against this. Can Spaltax really come back here? His opponent has, like, the whole map compared to him, right? Nothing but SAMs. These lines of PD everywhere are not what he needs. He's working on a nuke! He's working on a nuke! Jimjack, you just need bricks. Both players are ecoing back into the game, though. Look at Jimjack going out across the map. He's collecting the reclaim. And this is a good fight for Jimjack here. That is a good fight because he is handling the Percivals one at a time. Look how weak the Cybran PD is in the face of the almighty Percival. Now this will be a decisive fight here. The Percival's coming in one at a time. Lots of PD in the base. This one, slightly retarded. We'll try and forget about that one. I think the Percivals are going to win here, but they are going to take losses. Again, the Percival priority, they are prioritizing Tech 1 power. They're going to take a lot of damage. This was a terrible idea to build this, but somehow it turns into a plan that works because the Percivals walk straight into it. And these are like high veterancy Percivals as well. That attack did not go well for Spaltext at all. That went terribly for him. The engineers are going to be able to rebuild here. But what it has done is damage the eco, and now Jimjack is behind. So Spaltext actually making a comeback here, incredibly. I thought he was done for, 100%. He's now walking back into the water, spreading back out. Both players trying to re-eco, which is very sensible. Jimjack just lost his only energy storage. We'll see if he notices that. He just lost his only e-storage. I'm sure that won't affect the game. Maybe build a second e-storage if at this point, boys. More Percivals pushing in here. Again, a couple of Tech 1 bombers or T2 gunships would make a big difference. This is also smart. Getting T2 power, spreading out your stuff. Unfortunately, building it here, slightly questionable. Though luckily, we have a giant wall of Tech 1 PD to defend it. And as we know, giant walls of Tech 1 PD are extremely effective against Percivals. This is anyone's game again. Oh my goodness, look at the Percivals melt. Just use the attack command, Spaltext. You don't need to walk into them and die. Oh no. That is incredibly painful. The pride of the UEF land army effectively getting absolutely demolished by Tech 1 PD. That's a shocker right there. So Jimjack can potentially kill these Percivals with his ACU. No problem. But not if he doesn't. There we go. There's a Tech 3 gunship. That's what we wanted to see. Probably shouldn't be patrolling, though. You want to use them. Spaltext looks like he's going to continue sending out Percivals with no anti-air or shields. That's his plan. Percival's fighting PD. Percivals love to eat Tech 1 power. They're probably on power priority, to be honest. Nope, they're actually prioritizing Tech 1 engineers. They're actually just this bad. Should we focus the something useful? No, we will fight the engineers. Are all of these cruisers going to get killed by these Percivals? They might. What's more concerning is these Percivals down here in the bottom right are killing everything. They're killing everything. Jimjack's eco is now down below 100. There's no attempt to deal with them. He's just maxed out on, you know, this gunship could deal with them, but he's just... These factories are idle. His bricks are idle. Luckily... the Percies are also idle and dying to the cruisers. Oh no. Luckily, a move command was given by someone on his team to remind Spaltext to move them. Oh, the reason they're idle is that he didn't rebuild the factory to T3. He hasn't realized. He's probably still got bricks queued. He's like, why aren't they coming? Why aren't they working? Okay, well, the Percivals are still in the back line here. But all of these Percivals on the right died to cruisers. Have you ever seen that happen in a game? And you know what it's time for? Let's try and do the same thing again. Let's move our Percivals here. Also, conveniently, in cruiser range. Guys, if we tried it once and it didn't work, we should... The enemy would never expect us to do the exact same thing again, and that's why it will work this time. You gotta think outside the box, guys.
A brilliant new tactical plan to ensure final victory in the field.
Ah. Will this brilliant plan involve us climbing out of our trenches and walking very slowly towards the enemy, sir?
How could you possibly know that, Blackadder? It's classified information.
It's the same plan that we used last time, and the 17 times before that.
Exactly. And that is what is so brilliant about it. It will catch the watchful Hun totally off guard. Doing precisely what we've done 18 times before is exactly the last thing they'll expect us to do this time.
You gotta think outside the box. We should do this exact same thing, because the enemy will never see it coming. The world's slowest conquest by the Percy that... 13,000 mass killed on this Percy. Okay, now he's... So poor Jim Jack didn't realize he lost his HQ. He's queuing up an enormous wall of PD. That must be consuming so much mass. He'll be better off producing Tech 1 units against these. Tech 1 units are much cheaper and they will be more effective. He doesn't need all of these engineers here. And in these kind of games like this, going on the offensive, sending units around, like attacking here with this Tech 1 units, this would be effective. It would divert your opponent's attention. That's better than drawing lines of PD. More Percys dying to cruisers. There is, however, an anti-air with this time. This time, there's an anti-air. So, it will go differently. Transports dropping off Percivals in a place they could easily walk to. What a time to be alive. It looks like this Tech 1 unit block isn't going to see the light of day. The Thams are like, why do I hear boss music? As the Percy strolls in. Spent a lot of time, a lot of effort actually microing. There we go, there's the Zooies. That's what we needed to see. That's exactly what Jim Jack needed. Is Tech 1 Zooies to deal with the Percys, which... And then... to stop making cruisers, please. That's draining so much of his mass. He's only 110. He's now out. He's 3-1 down now. This is the gunship play that he needed. He is actually coming out of the pond. He does not have an E-storage since he lost it. I am worried about this move. So the Percys are standing in PD fire, and they're actually standing within range of... remember that there is a splash effect on the Percivals from the PD. Unfortunately, it looks like Jim Jack just lost E, so now he can't see them. He's stalling E, I'm not sure why. He's still making PD in a place he doesn't need. But he has been scouted here. And the Percivals are en route. And with stalling E, he's going to be in trouble. He needs to get to the safety of his own PD over here. Will any of these Percivals survive is the question. They actually might not. Okay. The Tech 1 PD. Oh no! Poor Jim Jack. He sees the enemies closing in and he control Ks. Oh, poor man. With power, with some good micro, with power and a few more E-storages, he could have potentially solved that, but he was down. Look at this, 10-1 in mass now. He was so close on so many occasions. And it turns out that it did turn out that AJ leaving this guy alive here when he could have killed him, turns out that was a bad move. Who would have guessed? I hope you enjoyed this low-rated Legends and all the wild activities that happened within. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.